Um, Hopefully y'all can hear me. Before even talking about the game, I have to say, with a limited roster, how doggone proud I am of these guys. 7.5 players, 2 practice days, and the last month for them has been, to say challenging is a severe understatement. And to come out today and play, as organized as we did, with very, very, very limited practice time, speaks volumes to who they are as young men. And they've been often criticized and the program criticized because of what we've been through. But I think these guys have tremendous character and resiliency to have been through what they've been through and come out today, as I said, with 7.5 guys, and we put 91 points on the board against a pretty good Western Illinois team with 20 turnovers. So if we cut those down by a fraction or a half, we would have had more productivity. And I thought at the outset our defense showed really good potential, and it gave us something to work on. I don't know, and I did not know coming into the game where my expectation level is for who our character is, because of the 8 guys that played today, 5 of them are new. 5 of them have never played, not only in this program but together. And so to be almost a month late to the playing surface and to be as new and behind on so many things, again, as I said, I'm very, very proud of what they did today, as young men, as opposed to just as athletes.
If you got a question, just raise your hand, or we got a pretty small group, so I can go around the room. I mean, Shannon, if you want to start off. Shannon Ryan with the Tribune.
Okay, sure. Congrats on the first win, Dave. What did you say to the team before you guys went out there? Did you have a particular message? Because I'm sure you might have thought about just their emotions being high.
Yeah, so I'm going to say probably 75% of it was basketball conversations about preparation and what we talked about were the keys to the game and those kind of things. But from an inspirational standpoint, it was, if we waited, as I mentioned, approximately a month to play basketball, we hadn't played one game yet, then we owe it to ourselves, we owe it to the game to put our best foot forward. From an energy standpoint, a collective energy. Doing the things that we've talked about doing that we haven't had enough time to prepare for. So, just making sure that these games that we play are precious. We've understood that more now than ever because they were taken away, by the pandemic that we're in. And so if we're going to be thankful and appreciative of the opportunity, then let's go out and show it by how we play collectively. And I think we did a good job with that.
Just then even coming off the floor and you see the guys like hugging and smiling, and there must have been, I don't know, some kind of weight maybe lifted off them, and that probably happened as they were playing too. But just wondering, I know you mentioned your pride, but what was it like to see them get that type of moment after this long of a period?
Yeah, so it speaks to, something that everybody goes through in their lifetime, which is adversity. And it can point you in 2 different directions. Adversity can break you and it can fracture you. And in this process, at times has at least in their mental frame of mind and even physically not being where you want to be and game ready, has splintered an individual and sometimes a group to the degree that would worry me. As I've said to everybody, my opportunity to understand where they're at emotionally and their wellness is really critical. But I think what you saw, Shannon, what you're talking about is the resiliency that I would hope that adversity would bring you together for. And I think that's exactly how they looked at it, as a brotherhood and supporting each other, particularly with no fans. That if you're not playing the game, then you got to be a great cheerleader. And I think they did a really good job of supporting each other that way.
Next question from Steve Newhouse. Go ahead, Steve.
Hi, Dave. I'd like to get your thoughts on Mr. Liberty and his debut tonight.
He's a really, really good basketball player. He's got tremendous potential. And I think it's because he's a tremendous young man. He puts the work in. He's got a tremendous amount of humility. He knows there's a lot of growth, and I think that's why, at least part of the reason why he chose to make the move to come to DePaul. And so, what we saw today is just the beginning, in my eyes, of what we'll see over the course of the time that he's here. That he's multi-dimensional. He made threes today. He put the ball on the floor, made plays in and around the basket for himself and for his teammates. He defended today. He rebounded today. He was a off-the-ball scorer. He was an on-the-ball distributor. So he showed a multitude of things that I think is just part of who he is. And I think once we get comfortable in who we are on both ends of the floor, he'll be even better.
Dave, one more question. A few years ago, we saw Paul Reed make a big transformation from his freshman year to his sophomore year. Are we witnessing something similar here with Nick now?
It's my hope. He's got a tremendous amount of potential, and, his long-range basketball career could be as long as he wants it to be. I like to think while we're transforming ourselves into the program that we're headed in the direction to be, there's individuals that have benefited. You mentioned Paul, who's with Philadelphia right now. Max Strus was with Miami. Mike Henry before him, Billy Garrett. So there's an opportunity, because I think we focus a lot on development, and our staff does a tremendous job of developing our guys and getting them better, that we can have more people be in positions where they can realize their dream. I'm not going to back away from that with Nick. And the thing about it that, he came late to us because we went to Europe before his freshman year. He couldn't make that trip, so he missed his freshman year summer basketball where he could get better. And then, because everybody was home for the spring and summer, he missed development time there. And for a big guy, those off season moments are critical. And so, he's just scratching the surface, I think, in terms of his potential. And as he gets more growth and playing time, hopefully he'll be able to reach higher heights.
Next question from Lawrence Kramer.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the win. Could you talk about your team's start to the game? It seemed like you guys came out with a lot of energy in the first couple of minutes, and just how, if you're kind of impressed with how you guys started considering the long layoff.
Yeah. So I look at it at the beginning of the first 4 minutes of the TV timeout, our defensive intensity, our scouting report defense. Are we doing the things that we've talked about, that we practiced over the last couple of days? And I thought that was really good. It led to some rebounds and some missed shots. And I thought our transition offense, was really good. We got off to a 12-2 start. And if we continue to run, I think the danger that we pose is that we have multiple decision makers and multiple ball handlers. And so it doesn't have to be, kind of last year, as we talked a lot about, Charlie was a primary and almost singular ball handler for us. And it could be any one of 3 or 4 or 5 guys with this year's team. So that makes us dangerous if we commit to 40 minutes of defense and allow our offense to be really productive. So I saw that, we got to sustain it. And I think that was a lot of my timeout conversations about sustaining that. We gave up 47 points in the second half, and so that came from lack of sustainability on the defensive end. But again, I think not playing basketball for a long period of time and having only 2 days to get our rhythm back, we're at least a part of that.
Shannon Ryan has a follow-up.
Okay, I just want to clarify, you talked about the 2 days of practice. So the, was Sunday the last day of quarantine for guys? Is that right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Or Monday.
And when was the last time you would practice before that?
That's a good question.
Get your calendar out.
Last weekend,
The previous
game against Iowa State halted.
Yeah.
Sunday. And then we went into quarantine. We came back out. We went back in, quarantine again. So if you look at it, a 7-day break, but we've had 2 7-day breaks sandwiched with about a couple of practice days in the last 2.5 to 3 weeks. And again, that's why I said at the beginning how proud I am of these guys, because they haven't had enough practice time to be as good as they were today. And with those practice days that we've had, we've never really had, but probably half a dozen times, 10 guys. We have 5-on-5 with 10 scholarship guys playing against each other, so you can work on some things, rotations. So we've been handicapped, more than I could even care to talk about, but no way of any excuse from anybody, particularly me. We continue to have to be ready. Providence is right around the corner, and knowing how good they are and what they challenge us with, we're going to have to be even better, or much, much better than we were today.
And would you expect to have those other guys back for that game? Or do you know, what can you say about the timeline of that?
To focus in and talk about, I leave that to the doctors and all of that stuff. I'm respectful of the HIPAA laws that protect privacy. Obviously, COVID has been very public, and so I'm going to hope, Shannon, like you do, that we can have them back. Day was at the game today, so we hope to kind of get them back as soon as the people in charge tell us he can come back to practice.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. One final question from Lawrence Kramer.
Hey, Coach, I saw you wearing a towel over your right shoulder to honor John Thompson tonight. Could you just talk about, what he meant, maybe to you personally and to the game of basketball as well?
Yeah, it is. And I don't want to be long-winded, but there's two really critically important parts to his life as it relates to the times that we're living in now and as it relates to being a basketball coach of the stature that he had. And for me, it becomes very personal. I idolized him. I was in my mid-20s when his teams were going to the Final Four. The first Final Four that I went to was a year after they had won it in '85 in Lexington when they lost to Villanova. And that was my first Final Four. I was 25 years old, in awe of watching what Georgetown was. If you remember back that far, you're too young, Lawrence, but starter jackets in every community was because John Thompson made Georgetown the place to be. And then having the opportunity to compete against Georgetown, and getting to know him as a coach or an activist meant something to my life. So his legacy goes beyond measure for me, and how I respect what he's done for history and what he's done for the game of basketball. So to be able to honor him in that way, and I'm glad, Georgetown and Patrick Ewing made this more public so that we can all express, as I'm doing right now, our appreciation and love for a man that left so much to the life, not only in the sport of basketball, but most importantly to human rights and for those less fortunate. And so I owe a debt of gratitude as a mentor that he was to all of us, to what he meant to this game and to our lifetime.
All right, thanks, Coach. We'll have either Charlie or Javon, whoever you guys decide in the room there, to come up next, and we'll take some questions for them.
Merry Christmas. Okay. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, you need something, let me know.
Okay, we'll do.
All right, Charlie is the first guy up for us. If you got a question, raise hand. Or I'll call on one of you like in class. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay, I'll go ahead. Hey, Charlie, you're the only returning starter out there tonight. So with a whole, completely kind of different crew from what you had last year. So how would you say this bunch compares to what you had last season?
Last year we had a great team. Wish we could have did, a lot better, with the talent that we had. But this year, we have a more well-rounded team. Multiple guys that bring the ball up the court, like Coach explained. And I think we have defensive abilities that we didn't have last year as well, So I feel like we have a great opportunity this year, and we just got to make the best of it.
Hey, one other question, Charlie. It must have been strange for you to see Nick Irvin on the other sideline tonight. Did Nick have anything to say to you?
Yeah, I just talked to him a little bit before the game. That's my man. Was my high school coach. I love him a lot. So he just gave me some great words of encouragement, and I gave him some words of encouragement as well. It was just great to see him.
Go ahead, Shannon. Next question,
Okay.
Shannon Ryan.
All right. Hi, Charlie. Could you describe the emotions of just getting back on a basketball court and playing against another team, and what was going through your mind, and what were your feelings headed out there again?
It was a relief off the team back, our back, having like several games canceled, seeing other teams play. Our team was just anxious to get out there and play and show the work that we've been putting in. So I think when we hit the floor, pressure and relief hit us instantly. That's why we excited, came out with a great run. Energy level was there and everything like that. So I just felt like it was a great feeling to get back on the court for me and my teammates as well.
And how gratifying was it that even with limited practices, guys out, no games, you were still able to shoot really well tonight, score a lot of points, win a game? What does that say?
It just says how great of a team we have, the ability we have, and the level we got to get to stay getting better. Like I said, we got a great overall team, and I feel like if we keep working, staying in the gym and playing together, the sky's the limit for us.
Any other questions for Charlie? All right. Thanks, Charlie.
Sir. Dude.
Congratulations, Charlie. Great game.
Thank you.
All right, we got Javon Freeman-Liberty. If you got a question, let me know in the chat or raise your hand. Anybody? Go ahead, Shannon.
Okay, thanks. Javon, just what was it like to have your debut at DePaul with a really strong game, but also just these unusual circumstances to finally get out there and get a win?
Yeah, like Coach said, around this time it's tough times, man. It really is. But for all of us, not just me, for all of us, is just get out there and just play at the level that we played tonight. Shows that we really have major talent, and just not for me, the team also.
And would you say, was it emotional for you? Do you have a different perspective maybe on just playing after that time sitting out? But I don't know, were there high emotions did you feel on the team, or did it seem like everyone was just like raring to get out there?
Yeah, we all were just anxious to get out there. No nervousness, no nothing. We was all just happy to be out there and anxious to just get on the court and play the game that we love.
Okay, and just last thing is, was there any feeling of you guys, like even leading into today or yesterday, thinking like, is it really going to happen?
Most definitely, because
Really
especially having the time when we was at Iowa State, we was getting ready, and 2 hours before the game, it just canceled just like that. We was back on the plane on the way back home. So it was definitely fingers crossed for all of us.
All right, Lawrence Kramer, up next.
Yeah, congrats on the win tonight. Javon, can you talk about kind of your ball handling skills tonight? You had 6 assists, and just how comfortable you feel leading the offense when Charlie's not on the court or he's playing off the ball as well?
From our height, like I have like kind of advantage on small guys, so I can like see a lot. But it's like I base my game off like to get the team involved first, then me come first. So I put my teammates first, then me.
Right. Any other questions for Javon? All right. Thanks, Javon. Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. We'll have a recording of this.